Now, you're in the US at the moment, and of course, politics in the US has just been in absolute chaos over the past week. After the debate, we knew that Joe Biden wouldn't be able to stand up in a live television debate, and of course, the whole performance was pretty terrible. This was probably the worst bit.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Just terrible stuff. Now, Alexander Downer, they're going to have to get rid of Joe Biden. They can't put him up for another 4 years. But there's an easy way to do this and a hard way. The easy way is he resigns tomorrow and you already have a new president. The Vice President steps up, Kamla Harris, and she becomes the candidate, even though most people think she's not a very good one. Or they have to go through a very difficult process, probably at the convention, to choose a new ticket. Do you have any inkling what's going to happen?
Well, I think Joe Biden, in the end, will be persuaded to stand down. What they'll do to find another candidate is a very open question. They won't want Kamala Harris because she's herself very unpopular and would make a bad candidate. They have other candidates, a couple of the state governors, the governor of Maryland, Wes Moore, the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. These would be very credible candidates, and they might even be able to win the election against Donald Trump. But with Joe Biden, the polls all show a collapse in his support now. I mean, Trump is something like 6% ahead in the latest New York Times poll. So I think he himself is pretty much finished. It's a huge crisis for the Democratic Party because unless they find another good and credible candidate, and that candidate has to be a middle-of-the-road person, not a very left-wing person, and the party apparatchiks are pretty left-wing, so that in itself will be a challenge. But if they stick with Joe Biden, they're going to lose.
Yeah, it's a hell of a mess, but they've only got themselves to blame. The Democrats should have been looking at all this years ago, if not months ago. Thanks for joining us, Alexander Downer. I appreciate it.
It's a great pleasure, Chris.